Hey YouTube, it's DJ from It's Always Something, because when you're a dad and a homeowner, it's always something. So the something that we're working on today, or that we're going to talk about today, is crappy lighting. Look at this bedroom. This bedroom has crappy lighting. I'm going to turn on the central light. This room had one light in the center, this ceiling fan, and no matter how much I upgraded this light in the center, the lighting in here was still crappy. Especially if you wanted to sit down and do any homework, right? This is my son's workstation. You can see if I stand here, or if I sit here, I'm between the light and the desk, and it gets some crappy shadow. Right, so that's horrible. So finally, I had enough. I went and bought some LED lights, some ultra-thin can replacements, and we went from this to this. Like, I'm even going to turn that light off. You can see the difference, right? Much brighter, a little wider, and more importantly, now I'm not between light source. Look how clear that desk is. Even if I come up to it, look how bright the work surface is. No shadows. It's easy. You know, we tried task lamps. We tried big lamps. Nothing seemed to work as well. So let me show you the lights I picked out and how I did it. So this is the light. This is the Halo by EATON, 6-inch. I chose 6-inch because it's a big room, and all the other lights in my house are 6-inch, so I wanted to keep it the same. What's really cool about this one in particular is this is a 75 watt replacement instead of a 60 watt replacement, over 1,000 lumens. You can select the color, right? So it's got 2700, 3000, 3500, 4000, and 5000 degrees. So you can choose the light. If you want to put it in a living room or a bedroom, you can make it a little warmer. If you want to put it in the kitchen or an office, you can make it a little wider. So that's really cool. It's dimmable down to 5%, and it's super thin. Super thin. Right? So these are really simple to install. Right? 1061 nominal lumens, dimmable to 5%. 22 years at 6 hours a day. Pretty awesome. All right, let's see what's in here. We'll open the box. These are our paperwork, our junction box with the driver in it for the LEDs, and here is our light. Let's get it out of the cardboard. Get this off of here. Right? So that's it. That's what you got. It's that simple. This actually comes apart right here, if you want it to. Right? That might make it easier to install. It's keyed, right? So it's only going one way, so you can't plug this in the wrong way. But that's it. That's what comes in the box, and it's actually pretty awesome. Now, what's cool is look how thin that is. Look how incredibly thin that is. And what's awesome about that is, if you're trying to nerd out and figure out where in the ceiling this light needs to go so it doesn't hit a ceiling joist or whatever, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because this is so thin that the amount of this light that sticks into the ceiling is actually less than ½ inch. So if you have ½ inch drywall in your ceiling, this part of the light will not stick above the surface of the drywall. Only these two tabs and this light and this cord right here will stick above the surface of the drywall. I got a little spare piece that I cut a hole in, and we'll check that out. All right, and here's the driver box. You can see this is 120 volts. Output is 36 volts, 370 milliamps. So on your 120 volt side, that's just over 1/10 of an amp to give you your 16 watts, right? So very little power draw. It comes in with built-in strain reliefs. You don't need to buy anything special. You don't need connectors. I've seen some people, want to use these knockouts. If you want to, I would say not to, because if you pull this knockout out, and you use Romex, which for those of you who don't know, Romex is probably what's in the majority of your house, right? It looks like this. If you take this knockout out and you just stick a piece of Romex in there, that's not very safe because there'll be a metal edge around here and it'll rub against the sheathing. Will it work? It'll probably work. It'll probably work for years and not give you a problem. But in the chance that it does give you a problem, it can be a big problem. If you stick wire through something like that, you need to use some type of strain relief. So they sell little grommets that go in there. They sell these types of strain relief that you can screw into there and clamp that down to keep it from rubbing on there. But anyway, if you decide to use that, just use it correctly. Do a little research. Make sure you do that right. I use these, right? These are the built-in strain reliefs. On this side, we've got the temperature selection. At the top, you've got 2700, and then it goes to 3000, 3500, 4000, and 5000. So even once this is installed and you decide you don't like the temperature light that you picked, you can make it a little warmer, you can make it a little cooler, whatever you want. I picked 3500 for mine, and I was pretty happy with that. This box opens really easy. Just give it a little press on the top. There's a little lip inside here, you can see. To open it up, this little lip right here catches on the inside of this. So if you try to open it, it won't. Just give this a little press in with your thumb, and it opens right up. All right, if you look inside, driver's in this side. This side's all open space. This is where you can do your wiring. This is why you don't need a separate box. They give you these Wago or Wago, however you want to pronounce it, push-in connectors. These are awesome, right? No, because they're easier to use than wire nuts. So I like these a lot better. And for a typical installation, when you've got power coming in and then power going out and then connecting to here, you'll still have a space left over if you're doing something different with your situation. But most of us will only use two additional slots. Two additional slots in these connectors, and you'll have one left over in case you have something else going on. Right, here's your strain relief. These are easy to get open, right? Just get a flathead screwdriver, which I had right there. Let's grab a flathead screwdriver. Take a flathead screwdriver, grab that little tab, pop it up. One or two, depending on how you're doing it. Right, you can see how it's a little clamp right there, a little built-in clamp. So you'll strip this back, and you want the sheathing to be the part that it clamps onto, not the bare wire. Right, so it'll end up going like this, but you'll have these stripped back. We'll do that in a second, just so you can see what it looks like. But see, it doesn't come out. It's in there tight. And then you make your connections inside this box. Right? You close it up, and you're done. Right? Cable is protected all the way around with a plastic sheath, so it doesn't rub against any metal. That's why if you use this, make sure you do it correctly. Alright, so let's strip these. Let's strip one of these, right, so you can see what it'll look like going in there. These are easy to strip. Just need a razor knife or a cable ripper to get the sheathing off. We'll use a razor knife. And let's pick out some strippers. Let's see, we've got those Klein automatic strippers. We've got these strippers, these strippers, these strippers, these strippers, Oh, we've got these other heavy duty strippers. Oh, I've got these automatic strippers. Another pair of those strippers. Those are our choices. Wait, am I missing one? Oh look, there's another one of those strippers. Don't tell my wife, but I think I have a stripper problem. I think I have a weak spot for strippers. These are usually my favorite, just because I've done this so often. I can usually go by feel with these, and they're small and simple. But you know what? Let's use this pair today. These are fine too. They're just a little bulky for my taste, especially if you got to carry them around. These are a good compromise. I think they're small, lightweight, and they work really well. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull a little bit of this back. I'm just going to score the sheath. I'm not cutting through it all the way, I'm just scoring it. Right, 'cause I don't want to cut the wire underneath, so I'm just scoring the sheath. So I can peel it back with my fingers. It'll split along that score line. Just going to peel a little bit back. Going to peel a little bit back. Cut that sheath off. It's got this paper filler in here. I'm going to pull the paper filler back. Cut that off. Being careful not to cut the insulation on the wire. Right, so you can kind of see what's going to happen here. Right, this insulation, I want the sheathing to be there, right, and we'll strip this so it can connect to the lever nut. So we'll strip off a little bit. You want a little bit of the insulation to be inside the plastic, right, so it's covered. Right, so we'll strip off just about right there. This is 14 gauge wire, so we go down, find our 14 gauge. It goes 10, 12, 14, 10, 12, 14. Squeeze, a little twist. Easy smeezy. 10, 12, 14. Squeeze, twist. Easy smeezy. Right, so try to make this so you can see it. Get everything out of the way. Remember that I want the sheath to be on this. Push that in. And then with these push-on wire connectors, they're so much easier than wire nuts. All you gotta do is push it in, and you're done. So you can see these are actually clear, so you can actually see the wire inside. It's nice and secure. And see if you can get close enough. You can see that the insulation is actually inside there just a little bit, so you can't accidentally touch anything. Right, and then you just follow through. Do the same for the neutral, and do the same for the ground. Push it on. Boom. Right, and if this was in the middle of your, if you were going to the next light, right, you would just do this on this side, connect it up, head that towards your next light. Right, we'll tuck that in there a little bit, close it, there you go. Right, nice and clean, no special connectors, you can use what's built in. That's done. That's what makes this install kit so easy. You don't really need to buy anything special or extra. These require a 6-inch hole, which you can cut, however you want to do it. If you want to do that with a jab saw or however. I picked up one of these Klein, and many people make those besides Klein, but the one that was at Home Depot was a Klein. So I picked up one of these Klein adjustable hole saws. It's got little indentations right here with markings next to it. 3, 4, 5, 6. So you just, with little arrows, you just line this up with the 6 on both sides, and that will give you a 6-inch diameter hole. And I gotta say, it worked really well. Right? You can set the collar with this. And what this does a really good job of is if you're drilling a hole in your ceiling and you don't want to get dust everywhere, right? You put that in there like this, right? Chuck this into your drill, and then drill your hole, and all the, not all, but 95% or more of the dust will fall into here. And then you can just pull this down and vacuum it out or dump it out. See if I can get a quick shot of me using this. It is a little tricky because these two little knives have a little bit of an angle to them, and that's on purpose. But if you try to cut too quickly, they'll grab and might twist your wrist a little bit. So just kind of take it nice and slow when you're cutting a hole with this. Here's a piece of scrap 1/2-inch drywall that I had that I cut a 1/2-inch hole in. I cut a 6-inch hole in with that. It's a little harder when you're just trying to hold it in your hand and cut it. But this is how easy this whole setup is. So once you've got your hole drilled, right, so say this is in the ceiling. So you're underneath here, and you stick your driver box up there with your power cord. So all this is up in your attic space or up wherever, right? It's just sitting up here. If you've got enough slack, you can maybe attach this to a ceiling joist, or you can just set it up on top of the drywall if you need to. Right? I've got a couple places where I could attach it to a ceiling joist, and a couple places where I just had to set it on top here. But it weighs next to nothing, so it doesn't matter. Right? And then you need to pop this out. Right? So there's no screws, no nothing like that. You're underneath here. Right? You're working from underneath. Line this up. If you took it apart, right? I think on only one of mine that I installed did it help me at all to undo this. All right, so now you're underneath here. You're working underneath here. If you're working on a ladder, feed that through. Bend these orange clips back. Pop it up, and that's it. And it's installed. Right? No screws, no nothing. All this sits below the surface of the drywall. So if you've got a ceiling joist and that you're worried about, and it's running like this, it's okay. If it runs like this, all you got to do is turn this whole light a little bit, so your cord and your orange tabs miss your ceiling joist. It's kind of hard to think of a situation where this wouldn't work. The only time this wouldn't work is if you didn't have enough space, you didn't have enough clearance for this box to sit like this, which this is a 2x4, right? So you've got 3.5 inches of depth here, right? So which is more than enough for this box. So you may have something special going on in there, but for most people, this is going to work no matter what's going on in your ceiling. But you can see how easy of an install that is. I hope somebody found this video helpful. I've learned so much from YouTube over the years, and it's helped me so much with projects around the house. I thought it was time I started giving back. So tune in next time. I'll take you guys along with my next project, and there'll be many, many more projects, because when you're a dad and you're a homeowner, it's always something.